You guys, I don't enjoy making these kind of videos a lot on players. I don't enjoy, you know, take going in on players, all the time because you know the big problem with a lot of people around, social media and stuff like that is that they take a lot of different things and they try to, make some stuff up and try to manipulate what your basically your point is of your whole video, of your post, or whatever that case may be. Now, look, it's very, very clear right now that James Harden is looking bad out in these streets. But now his reputation at this point took a major L. Okay. Now, before I get into the news at hand, let's just remind a lot of people about what's been going on with James Harden over the last, what, 6 to 8 years of his career. Okay. You think about what has been going on throughout his time in Houston. Okay. When he got to Houston, when he got traded from OKC because OKC refused to give him the big max money. Okay, listen, you think about the amount of coaches he had to deal with. Okay, Kevin McHale, who was perhaps his best coach he ever had in his career. Okay, what does he do? James Harden literally threw that man under the bus and ultimately costed him his job. All right, threw that man under the bus even after they made the Western Conference Finals back in 20 was it 2015? Yeah, 2015. Okay, literally made the Western Conference Finals back in 2015 after coming back from a 3-1 deficit against the LA Clippers. All right, and remember, James Harden was sitting on that bench for that entire fourth quarter when the Clippers came back in that Game 6 in Staples. All right, what has happened after that? The team struggled early on in the year, and James Harden complained about McHale's coaching style and all that stuff, and he got fired. All right, and then JB Bickerstaff took over the team. Okay, what did people say about it afterwards? Well, Ken McHale was too much for him to deal with. He wasn't he couldn't adjust to what James Harden was doing. All right, I'd let that slide. All right, then what happened afterwards? A season later, you bring in Mike D'Antoni. All right, Mike D'Antoni, that basically 7 seconds or less type of offense, that running a gun type of offense. All right, what happened in the first year in 2017? All right, let me guess. You flamed out against the San Antonio Spurs. You didn't even show up. You didn't even want to be aggressive. All right. And you talked about how, oh, playing with Carmelo Anthony, it isn't really good for his game because, he doesn't like, that mid range game is not good. The 3-point shot is the way to go. All right. But what happened? 10 games into 2018 with Melo, right? Actually, I'm sorry, 2019, I should say. In 2019, the year after they made the Western Conference Finals. What happened? All right. Only played 10 games and got released. All right. Literally was going to be blackballed out of the NBA out of pure BS. It wasn't until the Portland Trailblazers gave Melo an opportunity and showed him what he basically can still do. All right. Now we will wind back to 2018. All right. That year when Chris Paul was the point guard of that team. All right, winning 65 regular season games, eventually the biggest win total in franchise history, and becoming the top seed in the NBA in the Western Conference. Right? What happened in that Game 7 against the Warriors? They set an NBA record, actually NBA playoff record, of 27 straight misses from 3-point range. The big deciding factor in that Game 7 loss. All right, just yakking threes nonstop, yak 'em, yak 'em. Like no ball movement, no player movement, nothing. Just straight up chucking up threes, and they break every single one. Literally every single one. It was disgraceful. It was disgusting to watch that type of basketball. All right. Then after 2019, after the whole experiment with Carmelo Anthony, what happens? All right, they try to go small ball, and it didn't work. They still got bounced by the Warriors again in 2019. Then during the bubble, they got bounced again in the semifinals against the Lakers. Like, listen, I'm just getting to the point right now where James Harden right now is his reputation is taking a major hit. Right now, as of this point, he came in the start of the season out of shape, and now, according to reports from ESPN, Now he's going to be unavailable due to in violation of the league's COVID-19 protocols after the NBA reviewed of James Harden basically partying without a mask at a nightclub, right? So tonight they were supposed to go against the Oklahoma City Thunder, but the game has now been postponed because the Rockets don't have enough players to play. They need to have 8 players to basically start to play on an actual game. They don't even have 8 players to play with. All right. So the question now the question is, what do the Rockets do at this point? All right. Thankfully, Harden tested negative for COVID-19. But think about this for a moment. James Harden really risked being infected with this virus. All right, a virus that has basically killed 250,000 people or more in the United States. All right, and you show that level of negligence and selfishness. Basically knowing that this virus can contaminate anybody. Just ask your former teammate Russell Westbrook. Oh, and I'm gonna save my stuff about Russell Westbrook in a minute because Russell Westbrook is getting a brunt of the blame when he doesn't deserve it. All right, but I'm gonna save that for a little bit. But my point is this: the NBA instituted rules where you cannot go to bars, you cannot go to lunges, you cannot go to clubs, you cannot participate in any social gatherings involving 15 people. The league made it very, very clear to those specific rules. And what did James Harden do? He just basically said, "I'm not following those rules. I can do whatever I want." Right? It's literally ridiculous. And did you really think that no one was going to notice? Right? People have iPhones, people have smartphones. They're going to record everything. So he really thought he could get away with this, and he didn't. Right? I'm glad that social media is ripping to this dude because this is the type of selfishness that we've been saying about James Harden over the last 6 to 8 years. Right? This guy is literally throwing tantrums of the fact that now the new ownership is pretty much putting in different type of people in basically in management positions to try to improve the team. And also, I've been told to the fact that now Coach Silas is not implementing more of a constructed offense where basically everybody gets an equal opportunity to touch the ball and all that stuff. But what is that? But what does James Harden do? Whine and complain when having his tantrum because he ain't getting his touches no more. He ain't getting his threes off. He ain't getting his opportunities to do isolate and basically travel on every single time he walks on the floor. Right? Listen, I'm so done with this dude. I really am. And the fact that this whole year you were teaming up with Russell Westbrook and Russell Westbrook. Let me tell you something right now. I went in on Russell Westbrook a lot over the last few weeks. From this point forward, I'm not going to do it anymore unless he actually does something, significantly wrong. But Russell Westbrook, say what you want to say about him. Yes, he can be erratic on the court, but last time I checked, Russell Westbrook shows a level of professionalism where you don't even hear these kind of stories about him, right? You would think a personality like Russell Westbrook would commit these kind of stupid acts. Nope. Haven't seen any stories, read anything, or even heard anything. With James Harden, not so much. All right. James Harden right now, man, he's just so he's so selfish, bro. And it's not like it's basically he's basically translated that overnight. It's been that way over the last 6 to 8 years. We are so done with this guy. I literally am. And for anybody that tries to tell me that this guy is a top 50 great shooting guard, you're really smoking something. You really are. Remember, Kobe Bryant literally said that playing that kind of style is not going to win a championship. And how would he know? Because Kobe used to do the same thing early on in his career when he waited before he start even before Phil Jackson became coach. All right. He was literally trying to do the same things James Harden was doing. And even though he was getting his points and getting all his, shots off, did it win any championships? Nope, it did not. All right. And Kobe knew that more than anybody, right? That James Harden's game, his type of isolation kind of game, is not going to duplicate for a championship. It's going to get you some nice, scoring averages. All right. But you're basically taking a lot, like 30 to 40 shots a game to get those high averages. Like nobody's touching the ball, nobody's moving the ball. Like, listen, bro, I'm so done with James Harden. I'm literally am. James Harden, man, is overrated. Literally overrated. All right. And I don't want to hear anybody that says, oh, I'm a hater. Oh, I'm a this and that. I've given James Harden so many chances. but no more. No more. The time is now for this man to leave Houston. And listen, there's been kind of reports that James Harden does not like, the new owner because he's basically a Trump supporter. Like, bro, I don't really care about that at all. Listen, there's so many owners around sports that basically support Donald Trump, but that's not the point. The point is that James Harden is showing a level of poor professionalism that's going to manifest itself when he gets into his mid 30s. Because remember, executives and basically scouts remember these things. They keep these things in mind even during free agency, right? He's still in his peak at this point. But if he continues to show that kind of level of this poor professionalism on and off the court, trust me, he's going to be basically, you know, ostracized from the NBA by the time he's 33 or 34. All right, and he better change things up. He better start having a different outlook on things because right now is not is his reputation is looking real bad. It's bad enough that you went to a club without a mask, and it's bad enough that you basically violated the league's protocol when they specifically told you not to go into clubs, parties, lounges, anything like that. But the fact that you want to sit here and try to play this whole, it's all, why should I take the blame on all this? Oh, it's all about me, me. Bro, stop it. Stop it. I'm done with this whole me talk thing. All right? Because clearly you only care about scoring, you only care about your stats, but you don't really care about winning. You want to have a championship, but you want to take the easy way out of it. That's why you've been see yourself with the Brooklyn Nets. But the way that the Brooklyn Nets looked last night against the Warriors, I think it's a case could be clear that James Harden could possibly ruin the chemistry of that team. I think just having the players that they have is just good enough for them to win a championship, in my humble opinion. But the point is, James Harden needs to go, bro. He desperately needs to go. All right. I don't care where he goes, but he needs to go away from Houston. All right. Because clearly this is now becoming the end of that, becoming an end of that line between those two, those two groups. And at this point, I don't really care what James Harden does. I really don't. I'm really done with this guy making excuses after excuses. You tarnish players' reputations. You tarnish coaches. Reputations. I mean, you become a reputation tarnisher. That's literally what this guy has become. All right, and I don't want to hear anybody saying like, "Oh, why you got to be hard on this guy." I'm not. I'm done. I don't want to hear any of it. If you continue to defend James Harden and what he does, I'm immediately blocking you on site. I don't want to hear it. All right. James Harden is a selfish player, literally a selfish player, and deserves to be disrespected around the league. Literally. I don't really care what other teams decide to do at this point. This guy is not a top 50 player, all right? And he'll never ever be better than Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan. He's not even in that class. All right? This guy is selfish beyond belief. And for anybody that tolerates that with him or even tries to play with him and knows that you're not going to get the ball anytime that James Harden takes the air out of it, I say good luck. Literally good luck. But the bottom line is, forget James Harden. Forget your style. All right. Because all you care about is just jacking up threes nonstop. You just want to get your little stats on, get your little guaranteed in the Hall of Fame. But when real basketball people are going to look at your game, they're going to ask themselves this question: Why you didn't commit yourself to being a team player and the promise of a championship? That's exactly what they're going to think of you when the day comes when you finally retire from basketball. So forget James Harden. You know what I mean? Forget any of his fans that tries to defend him or anything like that, because you are part of the problem more than anything else. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. And with that, I'm out. Peace.